My presentation, the outline of my presentation is like that. The background, major causes of human health, vulnerability of wood. That is the most important, I guess. Condition for fungal decay of timber. Then there is legal provision, common chemicals used in wood preservative, registered chemicals for wood treatment, findings and recommendations. Wood in Tanzania has many uses, especially in construction industry. Timber are used also with the chemical products in order to protect them against pests and fungal decay. Most of the chemicals used to treat timber are highly toxic, and the toxic nature of chemicals can harm human health and contaminate the natural environment. Now, why do we have to treat timber? I think this is important because without the treatment, we lose a good portion of the present products. So we treat timber because we want to enhance durability and increase lifespan, leading to conservation of global forest resources by extending the useful life of perishable wood or timber. It is the only reliable method of ensuring a long and a useful service life for perishable softwoods such as pine and spruce. Some chemicals such as osmose adds value to softwood timber, making it more durable like hardwood. Causes of health effects and pollution. While treating timber or wood, because we are using chemicals, then there are some toxic effects to human beings, animals, and the environment is also polluted. So treating timber by untrained personnel is one of the causes why the environment is contaminated, is also one of the causes why we have some toxic effects in human body. Because most of these chemicals cause cancer and some other health effects. Treating timber at unauthorized premises. You'll find this one later during my presentation, and indiscriminate disposal of the treated timber and their washings. In the issues of pesticides, one must take into consideration how the remains of the pesticide or chemicals and the containers should be disposed in order to avoid contamination. So wood are most vulnerable for the attack of the many sources, including bacterial stain and mold, fungal decay, insects, and weathering. Favorable conditions for fungal decay of timber, an adequate supply of oxygen, a favorable temperature between 32 degrees Fahrenheit, moisture in excess of the fiber saturation point, and a suitable source of energy and nutrients. Legal provision. Taking into consideration of the hazards emanating from the use of these chemicals, the Tanzania government enacted an act of parliament in 1997. Is called the Plant Protection Act, and then the regulations of 1999. The act came into force on July 2001, and this law provides requirements for registration of pesticides, and it has some other organs in order to smoothen the work. One of the organs is Part S, which is the Pesticide Approval and Registration Technical Subcommittee. This is the committee which approves the use of pesticides in this country. And then there is a higher committee, the National Plant Protection Advisory Committee. This endorses the resolutions or recommendations from his subcommittees, one of them being Part S. Now, these are the common chemicals which are used in this country. One is the chrominated copper arsenate. This is the most common product used in this country. Copper, in this case, is the primary fungicide. Arsenic is a secondary fungicide, and as well as insecticides. And chromium is a fixative, which is also pesticide ultraviolet light resistance. So you see that in chrominated copper arsenate, we have three actives: copper, arsenic, and chromium. And then we have the alkaline copper quaternary, which is copper as a fungicide quaternary ammonia. This compound, one of the compounds is the one which I have given you there. And then there is copper arsenol. This is copper mixed, for example, with tebuconazole. And then there is propiconazole, tebuconazole, and imidacloprid. All these are registered in many parts of the world. And one of the most important part of this is that non-metallic preservative imparts very little. I'm starting to get letters from the chair. So I will just rush to the conclusions. So in this country, the following products have been registered. Chrominated copper arsenate, that is the combination of copper oxide, arsenic trioxide, and then chromium. And then there is osmos AC, and these others. And tannalith tannalith belongs to chrominated copper arsenate. So I will then in 2004 there was a study carried out to find out the various practices carried out in this country concerning timber treatment or wood treatment. And the following were the general practices. These are the recommendations. There is a need of drafting operation standards and guidelines, because most of the people do not follow guidelines, they just do it the way they understand. Dealers should employ qualified staff and train on the job the currently employed ones. Firms to adopt state-of-the-art technology. Firms must have proper identity for easy location. There is a need to enforce the available relevant laws and regulations. As far as this one is concerned, now there is a draft bill called the Pesticide Management Act. and employers to provide the necessary safety equipment, stakeholders to establish timber treatment association, illegal doers, especially those hiding in backyards and forests, to be identified, sensitized, and assisted accordingly. So there we are. I thank you very much for listening.